Well then, this is a bit exciting. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu are mere days away from release and the game code has leaked out. Which means, of course, it's being data mined, which means we at last know about the encounter rates and how chaining will work when it comes to hunting perfect IV Pokemon, which is vital for competitive folk to know about, and hunting shiny Pokemon, and movesets, and which TMs will be available, and lots of juicy stuff, all rather important stuff that's going to be super useful to know if you're more than just a brain-dead Pokemon Go zombie wandering around flicking your little balls around, or a gleeful 5-year-old playing Pokemon for the very first time ever. And if you do want to play this dumbed-down stopgap Pokemon game to its fullest potential while waiting for the real Pokemon Core RPG Switch title we're getting next year, this is some nice stuff to know about. And in fact, some of what we're learning is pretty encouraging around how much fun some parts of this game will be, and how much of a challenge there will be for old schoolers. Hello again, I am Blunty, and I'm not going to deep dive into all of this. Links in the down below if you want to start digging for yourself. But what I wanted to do was surf across the tops of some of the more interesting and important waves of information that we're learning about. Something important, and something many of us have worried about, seeing as the starter Pokemon cannot evolve in these games, their stats. Seems the IV stats of your starter Pokemon are preset, locked in stone, same for everybody, and they're set to be flawless. Starter Pikachu has base stats of 430, which puts it fully 100 points above a standard Pikachu, and Starter Eevee has very slightly higher base stats than that, at 435, which is also 100 points higher than the base stats of a regular Eevee, which, if you're very bad at math, is 325. Their unique moves, Pika-Papow and Vivi Volley, or just skip over the fact that those are ridiculously infantile names and I hate them. They work like Return does. They have a base power of only 1, and their actual power is determined by the Pokemon's own affection for its trainer, which will in turn, of course, be affected by how often you feed it candies, I suppose, and give it haircuts and pats and all that kind of crap. And now for some bad news. It seems the starter Pokemon are in fact shiny locked. No amount of RNG luck or dogged restarting for days on end will get you a shiny starter. Don't even bother trying. So that sucks. We learned that a few moves have been tweaked in power with very large boosts and some even on PP amounts. Solar Beam, for example, has been buffed significantly. You'll be able to re-battle gym leaders, the assumption based on their boosted levels and movesets being that this will be a post-game option. There is a total of 60 TMs in the game, most of the common and expected ones are here of course, and a couple which have been previously pretty rare. To boost a stat to the absolute max, you'll need, at most, 200 candies. So settle in for the grind, folks. The next bit might be considered a bit spoilery, so if you're worried, look away for just a moment. But we also now know the teams and movesets of the post-game rebattle champion rival and gym leader Blue. If you are hoping for more map or some islands or whatever to explore after the main story is done, you're out of luck there. There's no such thing here. Also interesting, considering they've already added further generations to Pokemon Go recently, Pokemon Let's Go only has models for the Generation 1 Pokemon, 1 to 151, and of course that stupid splooge nut Pokemon they're cynically forcing you to play Pokemon Go if you even wanted in the first place, Meltan and Melmetal. One of the entry requirements for a gym is that you've caught at least 50 different kinds of Pokemon. So, a few speedrunners and special rules players like Nuzlocke, you're all kinda super boned from here on in. Bit of a big annoyance for other reasons too. I, for example, don't really bother with catching that many different types of Pokemon until I've been through the main story of the game. It gives me something extra to do in the post-game. You have the ability to mark individual Pokemon as a favourite, which, considering you have to catch dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of the same freaking Pokemon just to grind farm candies for level-ups and such, will be useful, I suppose. Stationary encounter battles, like the route-blocking Snorlax, are now time-gated. You'll get just 5 minutes to deal with it. I really hope this doesn't also affect other similar encounters, like legendary encounters, Mewtwo for example, because that's going to be shitty and annoying. The shiny encounter rate RNG is the same as it was in Generation 7, that's Sun, Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It is 1 in 4,096. The shiny charm is available as usual. If you catch everything in the game, you go see the game designer and you get the shiny charm, which increases your chances. We don't know by how much yet. But chaining is here, and it massively boosts that shiny encounter rate, along with making it almost ridiculously simple to get perfect IV Pokemon for competitive play. If you can keep encountering the same species of Pokemon in an uninterrupted chain, which would seem to be easy, seeing as you can see these Pokemon on the overworld map, so you can just go up to them. And I don't know whether this requires a catch or just an encounter and running away for the chain to be successful, but whatever the case, by a chain of just 31, you will be getting perfect IV Pokemon, and the game will roll the RNG dice 4 times for a shiny, quadrupling your chances for that rare shiny Pokemon. There's also an item in-game pinched from Pokemon Go called the Lure, and there's several different strengths of Lure. It works like the opposite of a repel, basically. So with this, and these surprisingly short chains, shiny hunting and obtaining practical competitive Pokemon seems pretty straightforward and less time-intensive than other methods have been. Even by just 21 chained encounters, you're getting 5 perfect IVs and triple the rolls for a shiny. Hackers and gimmick runners like rando runs are in for some fun. Seems fiddling with the encounter tables is pretty easy, as this wild Mewtwo demonstrates. Look at it, it's huge. RIP Eevee training, by the way. These are now junked, no such thing. There's an option to let you skip story cinematic, which is nice for replays. We have a complete listing on which Pokemon spawn in each area and what their encounter rates are, so that's super nice. And of course we now have complete learn sets for every Pokemon in the game. And both of these lists I shall be digging through later today while I start thinking about what team I'd like to build for my live streamed playthrough, which of course we will be starting on launch day. Cross-promotion opportunity, twitch.tv/bluntnate. And we have tables indicating the drop rates for various kinds of RNG loot drops from victories. And here we find another incentive to, as the old slogan goes, catch 'em all. Because loot drops scale with how your Pokedex is doing. The more unique Pokemon you have captured, the better chances of rarer drops. We now also know, despite the game strongly encouraging the continual grind of catching, not battling, endless Pokemon for leveling up your team, you can only store 1,000 Pokemon, which is significantly less than 10 of every type if you want to do the math that way. Probably not going to be an issue, seeing as to get the candies you need to feed your team to level up in the first place, you have to basically grind up caught Pokemon that you don't want anyway. But good luck keeping your Pokemon box organized. It's a dead list, not discrete boxes you can label individually, and even color code and name and organize properly. This is just a list, no gaps, and that's pretty friggin' annoying. At the absolute least, I have always kept trained, shiny, and special, like legendary or gift Pokemon, all in separate boxes, and have done for 2 friggin' decades of playing these games. And out of all the stuff that this game takes away that we've always had, individual boxes and being able to organize shit properly wasn't one of the things I was expecting to lose. I'm a little bit salty about that. I mean, we can tag Pokemon with some kind of favorite label, but that's hardly making life easy when you have to hunt through a list of up to 1,000 Pokemon for the one you're looking for. Hopefully there will be some sort of filtered sorting mechanic at the very least. There is a daycare, but there's no breeding. You can only deposit 1 Pokemon at a time, and you can't deposit your starter at all. And some form of hyper training is also available, but only available to maxed out leveled Pokemon. And that idiot bottle cap mechanic is back for it too. Sigh. So between this and Fallout 76, that's a lot of bottle caps I'll be dealing with over the next few months. There's some more finer detailed stuff, but as I said, I'll give you the links in the down below to dig through it for yourself and get as spoilery as you want to, but I just wanted to circle some of the more interesting stuff at the top, the stuff that's more likely to be of interest and affect the way experienced trainers come into the game and prepare to play through it. For me, I think the juiciest and most useful bits here are the encounter rates and areas where certain Pokemon will be spawning, and the moveset stuff that's of most interest, along with the shiny rates and chain multipliers for my post-game shiny hunting. But knowing what Pokemon I'm going to encounter when, and what their encounter rates are, and what their movesets are, it's all going to be pretty useful sort of planning out my team for my live Let's Play. I haven't even decided whether I'm going to do a gimmick run this time. We just got through doing a normal type only crystal run, which was a lot of fun, but yeah. If you've got any ideas what maybe we should use as a gimmick for the live playthrough of this one, drop a comment in the down below area. Maybe I'll just do a straight normal playthrough and run the second game through with a gimmick, I don't know yet. Still thinking. But do pop a follow over on twitch.tv/bluntnate if you want to come and hang out while we live stream my whole playthrough, regardless of whether or not I play with a gimmick or not, starting of course this coming Friday, launch day. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this has been interesting for you. Has been interesting for me. I am Blunty, and I'll catch you next time.